ships. It just blew his mind. And at the end, you could see he was a completely changed person. He went to all the other ones, and he was kind of getting upset because he didn't see anything and nothing happened. He went to all the other groups, but he was okay with it, And then he came here, and finally they put us the last part of the segment, and just one ship after another came in, and he said, "I'm on UFO overdose,"
That's wonderful, James. And what I will tell you about one of the props that's being put here at the moment, the actual TV producer actually was the boss of my son. My son is a mix of being a vet, stroke presenter, stroke actor, and he was on what was known as the Pet Show. But because Chris has a mum, and he often says he can't get away from UFOs, it's sort of like, why can't I get away from this? This is your stuff, Mum. Has been asked maybe we would do one through the eyes of my son, why his mother has become so passionate about this particular phenomena. And one of the things we were looking at was, a CE5 or something with the film crew. And I'm just more and more I'm thinking what a great place it would be to come to to Trout Lake and for them to see the phenomena there as part of this SBS. SBS is considered like the BBC in the UK. So it's a very credible TV channel here. And because Chris actually knows the producer, I know that there's no way that this, anything will happen that's not respectful. And I think that is certainly something percolating in my mind if the actual proposal goes ahead, because I would love them to witness. And my son, who has got a sort of wary eye on Mum and her, I mean, he's open, but he's also not sure about all of this. I think it would be a really a wonderful eye-opener for my son as well as for the film crew, if that would be something that would be... and this is what I'll talk to you more about down the track, whether or not you would be agreeable to something like that.
Oh, 100%. I think it would be awesome. And we haven't had anybody that... we had ABC come out here. We had Fox News, and Hannity actually covered it, who was a major conservative. Everybody couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And they did sanitize it quite a bit because we gave them phenomenal footage. And they got their own footage while they're there, too, and that's all they showed. But... we have a huge light door opening up on the mountain and things coming out of it, and the light spheres on video interacting with people and flying all around. And all the things you're talking about, the light spheres, we actually have it on film, on video, and multiple witnesses. So we have all of that you're welcome to use any of it.
Well, James, I think that it's really interesting that my son, whether he wants to or not, is being brought into this. Every time he tries to sort of, that's Mum stuff, something happens and he gets drawn in, and I find that quite an interesting kind of, from, our soul journeys together, I think that's quite an interesting one, and this is, I believe, part of this bigger mandate too, in getting credible material out there through, credible media as well, so that this has become more available without, as you say, all the dark stuff. Because there's so much fear on this planet now, and I have to say that I found more of that fear base in places like the US and the UK, far more so than in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere. They seem to be a lot more open and less into that fear-based mindset. And fear is what we generate, as you well know, and we're here to transcend our human fears. And the only way we're going to do that to reach our higher awareness is to go like the shaman. It's a shamanic journey as far as I'm concerned for... this is all about, waking ourselves up to our greater reality, and like the shaman, we have to face our fears, and this is, this is ultimately. Some people have a near-death experience, which is their shamanic journey into their greater awareness. Some may have a huge grief event. For some of us, it's UFOs. For some of us, it's an encounter. It just depends on what your soul has undertaken as that catalyst for that waking up.
I know, and when I was in Mexico, I just got back from Mexico, and it was quite interesting, and we showed the movie Contact Has Begun, and just packed the place every time, and, they loved it and everything, but, you talk about UFOs down there, and they see it as more of a spiritual thing, and they go, yeah, whatever, they said, show me the paranormal stuff, and And, they just accept it. It's not any big thing to them in almost all the Latin countries, which is probably why they're having so much contact and, thousands of ships flying over Guadalajara and Mexico City and some of the other states down there in Peru as well and Argentina. They're having incredible sightings there.
But, interestingly, I've been drawn to go to Mexico after the conference with a friend of mine, and one of the places was Tepoztlan, where Carlos Diaz saw the light ships. I'm connecting with a couple of researchers there. To be honest, I've always been interested in Mexico. I'm still not sure what the mandate is or why I've been drawn to go, but like yourself, there's obviously some reason from that other part of myself that's saying, whether you understand it or not, Mary, this is where you need to go for whatever reason, and I'm quite happy to go with the flow of that. But like you say, for them it's no big deal. This is all part of that greater reality, and I think that's the problem with us as a Western mindset, that as we still deny the greater part of who we are.
Oh, I agree. We went down there and took the movie with us, and they were showing it at all these restaurants and everything, and people, everybody loved it, but what they love most is we teach this, it's called Kunlun, and it's very ancient practice. It was just released from the Kunlun temples of Tibet, and it's like Qigong, it's actually Neigong, but they just love that, and I showed a few people it, and the next class I had twice as many, the next class 3 times as many, and it just grew like crazy, and the next thing you know, they're teaching it in the schools.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This is just 3 weeks, and, it has all the moving postures for the elements and everything else, and they just picked it up, and they knew it was right, and some of the Huichols, the shamans out there, they just loved it, and they were coming both physically and out of body to the class and checking it out.
Oh, wonderful.
But, it was quite interesting, and they just picked up right away. They could feel the energy, and it felt right to them, and they just loved it. And so, they have that innocence. They just go by their heart, and it's so easy. But I see in the U.S., we treat it with, aggression, and I always tell people, they go, why don't they land on the White House lawn? And I go, well, there's 2 reasons. One, they're looking for intelligent life, and, and the other one is that they shoot at them.
Yes, I know.
Our program is to greet them with aggression, with the best technology we have, shoot them down, use the technology to create superior weapons. And it's such a psychotic program that why on earth would any intelligent being want to interact on that level?
And that's, I think, what people need to hear more of, because it's very hard, and my son's one of them, and it's going to be interesting to see his process. When I talk about anything conspiratorial, oh, Mary, Mum, you're getting paranoid. And I said, look, I'm actually not in the least, I am pretty naive, or have been pretty innocent in terms of what goes on this planet. I said, but, whether I've liked it or not, when you keep being faced with the evidence of the fact that, 99% of this planet is lied to, and our reality isn't what we're told. Everything we're told is edited, and there's so little that has real integrity in the end, because there's so much disinformation out there. I have to be very careful, because he's coming from the scientific, academic who, has been brought up in the mindset of uni and whatever, and finds it really hard to believe that any human would want harm to another human, particularly those in power, in a real sense, even though he's not naive in some respects. In another respect, he naively wants to believe that, the powers that be ultimately want the best for humanity. And to have to come to terms with the fact there are people on this planet that actually are more dangerous to humanity than any form of outside force that we want to think of, it's very hard. Even those that are more, more tuned into this, many researchers, as you know, James, don't want to hear this. They don't want to know that there's things going on. And I have looked at the quite seriously at the MyLab side of this, and I've needed to. I can't deny this is going on, and it seems to be a lot more prevalent in places like the US and the UK. I haven't had so much